G'day and welcome to the Murder Valley YouTube channel. If you've been watching some videos before, thanks for coming back. If you're new to the channel, make sure you have a look around while you're here. Have a look at some of the other videos I've put up. My intent for the channel is to put up things that actually really help people on how to get more speed, more quality, better experience out of hose slots. Obviously, because I'm from Australia, I really focus on trying to get Australians up and going with this scale. This scale in the past hasn't been all that popular in Australia, and I don't understand why. If I'd have realised when my local track burnt down in 2000 that I could have done what I'm doing now with Ho, I would have saved myself a lot of money, and I wouldn't have bothered going down the route of racing RC cars and getting in sorts of... I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on other hobbies, and this one's been sitting there the whole time without realising how good it actually can be, because I've always considered hose scale to be a bit of a toy. But the quality we're getting out of how good these things are to drive now, I realised I've been wrong all these years, and so I've been into this since late 2016, and I reckon these things are awesome. So, what's this video for? Why am I bothering? What I want to talk about today is racing in Australia. I don't think there's a lot of people that know that there's Ho racing that exists in Australia. We've got the Australian Ho Racing League. There's a Facebook page for it. Come and find us. Come and join it. We've got the Gold Coast Ho Racing League that are up there in southeast Queensland. And we've also got the Newcastle Ho Racing League down here in Newcastle, New South Wales, about an hour and a half north of Sydney, where we are looking for more races to come and join us. If you're the type of person that has to win and just be the best at everything, don't even bother contacting us. We don't want you. We don't want that type. But if you're the type of bloke that, or female, doesn't bother me with the female. If you want to come and have a run, we race competitive, but we have fun doing it as well. If you want to come and get involved, come and get involved. These particular cars are the cars we've been racing for this season, which is why they're there. We've got the TFX, which is less than $50. We've got the Bulldog, which is a modern remake of a Tomy Turbo. Remember all those Thunderloop thriller sets? Well, that's essentially just the car that's in those. And then the current AFX offering, which is the Mega G Plus 1.7, which we want to continue to support, because we want to support AFX and the current manufacturers. So all of these chassis are currently made. And then at the tail end here, we've got a Viper V-Spec. There's a couple of different Viper chassis, and we sort of rotate between what they are. But that is essentially what we race. So that's less than $50. That's less than $30. That's about $30. And I think they end up costing, I think by the time you pay postage and get them out here, I think they're around about $100. So that's the most expensive one. I'll talk about these another time. Only the Newcastle Ho Racing League run those. But, okay, so let's talk about some more things. If we're talking slot cars, you've got to talk controllers, hey? So, like, you can run whatever you want. So they are standard AFX controllers. If that's what you want to run, there's nothing wrong with it. If the only thing we run as a spec is we run these XLR plugs. Why? These ones are all 2-wire controllers. Nothing wrong with them. And you know what? There's plenty of people who don't run with brakes. It might even be news to people to know that you can even run brakes with slot cars. But here's a couple of adjustable controllers. So we've got the Slotted SCP2, and this one is the True Speed MT2. These have adjustable sensitivity and adjustable brakes, etc. Thus the 3 wires. You need 3 wires for brakes, so all of our tracks are wired for that. And if you don't want to run with brakes, don't run with them. That's fine. We don't care. But the point is, we build the tracks to take brakes, so the racer makes the decision, not the track builder. It's pretty simple, and like, you can run whatever controller you want. If you want to home make something, if that's what you want to do it. As long as it doesn't add track power, there's no rule against it. So this is my particular controller of choice. This is the OS3 All Pro. The This has adjustable sensitivity, adjustable brake. It's got a choke setting on it. It's got you can turn the brake off completely. You can stick it on coast so it auto drives for you. I don't use any of those functions. I just run the brake, and I run it mostly up full because I used to race 124 cars and I always race with brake, and that's just the way. That just suits my driving style. We've got other guys that race no brakes, and we race door to door, lap for lap, because all our cars are competitive. We help racers to be able to get their cars competitive if they're not there. So don't be afraid that if you have never raced slot cars before, or you're not quite sure how to get them up to speed, you don't think you're going to be competitive. If that's what you're thinking, then you're never going to turn up. Don't worry about it. Just turn up. Contact the guys that actually race. On Facebook, there's the Australian Ho Racing League page. There's the Gold Coast Ho Racing League page and the Newcastle Ho Racing League page. Reach out, talk to the boys. Everyone there will assist you on how to help and get you racing. We want to get to the point where that we have enough people that we can hold inter-club racing. Look, a little bit of a dream thing. If we could get a national Australian race going, how good would that be, being the Australian champion? But where this all starts, it all starts with having common ground and common cars. So all of these cars here, we don't upgrade magnets, we don't do any of that sort of stuff. We run a standard spec. So every single one of these chassis does not have a single modified part in it. They are as they are. And then we run a local rule of whatever control tyre, because everyone runs the same thing to keep costs down. So we run a local control tyre and a local body. So in these are the bodies we're racing this season. So everyone's racing Beetles on TFX. Everyone's racing Nissan Silvia S15s on the Bulldogs. Everyone's racing either Monaro or a XB Falcon Coupe. Sorry, they're a bit beaten around. That's at the end of the racing season. But yeah, so these two race together. That's the only one we race with different bodies on. And then we've got the Porsche 917 over here. If you're wondering what these other cars are here in the back, these are the proposed bodies for next season. So the Beetle will move to being the Toyota Starlet GT, and the S15 will move to being the 911 from 1973, the RSR. I reckon these are a pretty neat looking little thing. But yeah, so if this sort of thing interests you, and it is, if you've ever raced any other styles of slot cars, you'd realise that these are actually much cheaper than all the other classes. We run on tracks in people's garages, so you've got to respect the fact that these are people's personal homes. So, you know, we need to sort of get to know people before they come, and that's sort of been our limitation of how far we've sent invites out. But yeah, get in contact with us. If you're remotely interested in this, even if you're just interested in just running and doing your own thing, have a look at my videos that I've done up here. There's more coming. I'm gonna probably move on to. I'm planning on doing videos of old cars that you might have bought some stuff off someone and you got some that don't run. I'm going to plan on doing those sorts of videos where, you know, show you how to get something back to running again, and how to paint bodies, and I'll probably even look at doing resin cast bodies, teaching people how to resin cast, because the more people we have resin casting, the better. The more content we have in Australia and the easier stuff is to get, the better. I personally I resin cast, and I also make the foam tyres. Why? Because when I used to race, we'll drive around with my mate back in these things. We used to go down to the local hobby store in the late 80s, and we used to buy Lexan bodies like this, and we used to put foam tyres on them, and we used to you know, do all sorts of things like putting WD-40 and stuff on the back tyres so they'd hang sideways around corners and all this sort of stuff. But I think from a 124 experience, I just prefer running on foam tyres to silicon. And the other guys, like, everything we do is to a vote. So if people come and they don't want to race a particular thing, or they don't want to run a spec, we just put it to vote at a race meet, and that sort of decides everything for us. But But yeah, so anyway, thanks for watching the video. I hope I've got some of you a little bit inspired to race. Controllers, probably I didn't mention cost. From the controller I use is the most expensive one there. I think they're about $315 at the moment in Australia, now that they've actually made it to Australia in a shop. You can pretty much go from nothing up to that price, and I think the good mid-range controllers, the ones that I'd sort of minimum suggest to people, are up around about the $130 mark. So think about this one, $130. Let's call that 50. Let's call that 30. Let's call that 30. So if that's all it costs to set up, obviously, like the bodies, it depends on the local group. I think they're between anywhere between $10 and about $20, depending on. And like the bodies I do are pretty much only resin cast for races, so I'm not interested in sitting in my garage, not spending hours and hours and hours knocking bodies out for other people. If you just to sit on a shelf. If you want to use it and you want to come and race, well, that's a different story. Come and talk to me. But yeah, come and get involved. Come and have a go. Come and have a race. What's the worst that'll happen? You'll come along and you won't like it. If you don't like it, and then you don't come back again, whoop-de-doo. But if you don't come, you don't know. Wait until you see how open the boys are to newcomers, eh? And how much they're willing to give you a hand, and I'll be surprised if you leave. But yeah, anyway, thanks very much for watching, and I hope to see you trackside.